In this video, I will present 5 awkward situations which we can escape in a very interesting way to impress our opponents and leave them speechless. I'm gonna start with this interesting scenario where we need to get from the A ball to the 9 ball, which is placed on the opposite side rail. However, the cue ball and A ball are very close to the side rail and we experience perfect striding shot, so trying to play a deep follow or draw shot might result in a very uncomfortable position to the 9 ball or embarrassing miss and even a scratch. But don't worry, you can use a very clever way to transfer the cue ball to the other side of the table. We should aim A ball slightly thinner and hit the cue ball with tiny bit of low left spin. However, the key will be to elevate our cue about 20 to 30 degrees. As you can see, cue ball jumps slightly and during contact with A ball, hop onto the rail and comes back on the table, which causes it to go immediately towards left side of the table. To execute that shot correctly, we have to apply enough speed as well as spin, because first of all we can hit too hard and cue ball will jump off the table. But the most important is enough thin contact with A ball, because if we hit too thick, then cue ball will not be able to jump onto the rail, and if we hit too thin, then we can just miss the A ball. Moving on, we face this impossible looking A ball situation where we are on the final A ball and all pockets are blocked by opponent's balls. I know, it is almost impossible to experience such a situation, but on my channel everything is possible. This time we need some magic to pocket A ball and I found this incredible solution where I'm gonna play 4-rail bank shot into that corner pocket, but the key is to use the cue ball to unblock that corner pocket. If we hit A ball slightly more on its left side, then it going around the table while in the same time, cue ball follows a banana shape and pockets the blocker. This attempt looks practically the same like one of the most famous shots of all time by the magician Chris Melling during A ball match against Mika Immonen. And actually, during this shot everything can go wrong, because first of all we have to send the A ball along the right path, and secondly, cue ball needs to make enough thin contact with A ball to pocket the blocker and move out of the way to open clear access to the pocket for the A ball. But if you find this perfect window, then this shot will definitely leave your opponent speechless for a very long time. This episode contains unbelievable situations, but this scenario we face quite often during matches. We are on the final 9 ball, but as you can see, cue ball as well as the 9 ball are frozen to the same rail, which makes a huge problem. Most players will hit this ball perfectly straight using center ball, which is a big mistake because there is almost no chance to make a contact with 9 ball at a correct point. In most cases, cue ball will hit rail first just tiny bit, resulting in too thin contact with 9 ball, an extremely painful miss. To make it possible to pocket the 9 ball, in first step we have to aim 9 ball perfectly straight with center ball and then apply low left spin using front hand English system. And this means that we have to move our bridge without moving our grip. When we hit the cue ball after this type of adjustment, then it slightly deflects to the right and then curves and comes back on the right line just before the 9 ball. This behavior makes it possible to hit 9 ball at its ghost ball and send it perfectly towards pocket. And of course, the key will be to apply correct amount of speed depending on how long distance cue ball needs to cover before hitting the 9 ball. Going forward, we need to talk about this 8 ball scenario, where we have to play final 8 ball, but opponent's balls completely block access to all pockets, and we are not even able to play any kick shot or bank shot. For the second time in this episode, we have to elevate our cue about 20 to 30 degrees and aim 8 ball perfectly straight, like if we wanted to play a one rail bank shot into the side pocket. This time cue ball jumps a bit before the 8 ball, what also caused this ball to jump and hit rail quite high. This contact with rail allows 8 ball to jump over the obstacle and go towards opposite side pockets. And of course, crucial during this attempt will be hitting the cue ball with enough speed, because we can hit way too hard, what also affects 8 ball behavior, because it hits rail too high and jumps off the table. Using this technique, we can sometimes escape totally awkward situations where there is no way to use conventional solution. Alright, the next scenario looks absolutely incredible, but we can also experience it during a match. We are on the 4 ball, but 9 ball completely blocks access to this ball, which puts us in a very difficult position. We can actually try to play one rail kick shot, what would be the most common choice here, but it is extremely difficult to avoid contacting 9 ball first. However, I have incredible solution where this time we have to take our jump cue, and our goal is to jump over the 9 ball, what will allow us to pocket the 4 ball. Cue ball jumps over the 9 ball and reaches 4 ball from the top, what allow it to hit it perfectly at its ghost ball. Cue ball after contact with 4 ball going around the table, and we get perfect shape on the 9 ball to the side pocket. During this solution, crucial will be to jump enough high to avoid contacting 9 ball first, and enough low to avoid missing 4 ball. Please remember that all the solutions I presented in this video are only trick shots that are very low percentage attempts, but I'm sure that knowing these solutions you can surprise your friends many times. Anyway, if you wanna discover more impossible shots, you need to check this video where I present another 5 situations which you can escape in a very clever way.